Okay, so question number 7. What is the isotope symbol for atoms that contain the following number of subatomic particles? Okay, so this is an interesting question because we don't know what element we have. We have to just kind of try to find it out just by given just only if we're given protons, number of electrons, and the number of neutrons. Okay, so let me show the general expression when you write any atomic symbol. It can be written as AZ, E, and then N. Okay, so I'll say what each of these variables mean. A is equal to the mass number, which is also equal to the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. And Z is the atomic number and this is just equal to the number of protons. N would be the charge of your ion, if you have an ion. So this can be if applicable. And it can be calculated as your number of protons minus your number of electrons. So if you have a neutral atom, then it just has a charge of 0. So you have the same number of protons as electrons. And then finally, E, which is the biggest symbol. This is just known as our element symbol. So this tells us what element we have, obviously. Okay, so now that we know how to write an atomic symbol, let's try to answer our question. So we have in part A, 1 proton, 1 electron, and 2 neutrons. So when we have 1 proton, the number of protons tells us what type of which element we have, because every element has a different number of protons. This one looks fine. So when we have 1 proton, this is the same as having an atomic number of 1, so we know that our element is hydrogen. So let me say, therefore, our element is hydrogen. And we can calculate for A now. So the mass number is equal to the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. We know that Z is just equal to 1 because we have 1 proton. And if we try to find the charge, which is the number of protons minus the number of electrons, it would just be 0. So we know we have a neutral atom. So therefore, for A, we can write the isotope symbol as 3, 1, and then H. And we don't need to write the N because it is just neutral. so now let's do the second part. We have 4 protons. So let's try to find out what element this is. Again, using the periodic table. Beryllium is the element that has 4 protons. So let me say, therefore, beryllium. Let's now calculate for the mass number. So protons plus neutrons. So 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. And for the atomic number, Z is just equal to number of protons, which is 4. And if we were to calculate the charge again, 4 minus 4 is 0, so we have another neutral atom. So therefore, it is 9, 4, and then beryllium. Okay, so now let's do our last part. We have 15 protons. So this tells us that our element is phosphorus. So now let's calculate its mass number. There are 15 protons, 16 neutrons, so the mass number is equal to 31. The atomic number is just equal to 15, and the charge is still 15 minus 15, which is 0. So therefore, we can write it as 31, 15, and then phosphorus. Okay, so let's see what the junior tutor said. The atomic symbol is a simple way of describing the components that comprise an element. It is written as AZEN. E is the symbol, A is the mass number, N is the charge, Z is the atomic number. Mass number can be obtained by number of protons plus the number of neutrons. The charge is protons minus electrons. If the element is neutral, they're the same value. And finally, the atomic number is always the number of protons. So for part A, they showed their work and also got 3,1 hydrogen. For part B, 9,4 beryllium. And for part C, 31,15 phosphorus. So this solution is correct.